Folks out there, they call me the big worm. Hey folks out there, they call me the big worm, and I want to welcome you to my new YouTube channel, Blue Mountain Worms. And we're going to be talking about everything that has to do with vermicomposting, red wiggler worms, and everything you want to know about these fantastic little creatures that can produce what they call black gold. So if you want to get into this and try this at home, I've got two methods I use in my wormery. I use a Jimmy bucket or a Homer bucket or a Home Depot bucket or wherever you want to use. Worms need to breathe. So what you want to do is to go. The reasoning for this is in our wormery, we put about 750 worms in each one of these buckets. And if you put it on a regular 4x4 pallet, you could stack these 6 high. You'd have about 72 buckets on a 4x4 area. So it becomes a real good use of time. So the Homer bucket is one way of doing it. There are other ways. You can get a 100-gallon Big Blue tank and cut it in half. We use that too for demonstration purpose. You know, I get these up at Restaurant Depot, but you can probably get these at Walmart. It's just what they use in any kitchen. And drill holes around the side of these. I stack these 6 high, 7 high in my wormery, and I can put about 1,000 worms in each one of these. So that being said, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how we'll use the bucket today, and I'm going to show you how I basically build my bucket up to spec for the bucket. All right, folks. You probably guess this is a brick. It is a brick, but it's a special kind of brick. This is a coca-cola. It's basically organic, compressed ground coconut. And this is what the worms love to eat. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our bucket, drop it in the bucket. Make sure that you use only distilled water, unchlorinated water. If you're on well water, it will work. But we're going to put that about, let's say about a gallon to start in there. And I'm going to work this with my hands for a minute. We'll go off screen and I'll show you what we got left once I have this brick dissolved. Now we got the brick and it's still a little bit moist. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double down with some good old peat moss. Worms love eating peat moss. You don't want this thing too wet, and you certainly don't want it too dry. You want it right in the groove. And I'm going to mix this up by hand. It's still moist because the worms need water to breathe. So when you're finished to this step, you're going to see something that looks like that. We have some of my special Blue Mountain worm gel. And I'll put about 1/4 cup in there. Worms love it, fattens them up real nice. And worms are a lot like chickens in a way, kind of, because their stomach, the way their stomach works, and they've got, I think, 6 stomachs, is they're kind of like a chicken. And a chicken has a gizzard, and it eats pebbles, and it uses that to digest its food. So we want to put some grit in there, and what I use for that is just organic oyster flour. It's just ground up oyster in a powdered form. And now we're going to mix this up thoroughly. Okay? And that's all kind of mixed up nice. Nice moist condition, but not too moist. All right. Now, worms will eat a lot of stuff, but they love paper, cardboard. So I'm going to mix some shredded paper. You know, don't get anything with color in it, no plastic, just regular old paper, and now just mix that right in there like that. Now I've got everything pretty much set up, except we're missing the most important ingredient, which is the worms. They're the star attraction of our show today, folks. So I'm gonna go get some worms, and we're gonna put them in this bucket, and we're gonna put a little bit of food in there with them. These things are big eaters. They eat half their body weight in one day. So you gotta feed the worm. That's the beautiful thing about this. You're making organic fertilizer with these worms, but you're also reducing the carbon footprint as opposed to having the worms go down to the landfill and give off methane gas and all your greenhouse gases. Basically, they're reducing the carbon footprint. That's so important here. So let me get the worms, and we're gonna bed some worms in here. Our attraction of the show, and that is, I have approximately, I didn't count them, but I'm just by looking at this, I've got about 800 red wigglers in their original bedding. That's the black gold I'm talking about. And that has all of the bacteria, the good bacteria, that's going to help these worms thrive. So I'm just going to dump that right in there, like so. And we're going to stir this whole concoction up. And then we're going to get them something to eat. And then we're going to put the lid on them and come back and look at them next week. And they'll probably have gone through all the food that we're going to put in here. All right, on tonight's menu, the worms get carrots. And what I recommend is the worms just kind of live on the top 2 or 3 inches of this. They may go deeper. I recommend burying the vegetables so when they start to rot, it doesn't smell. But there you got it, folks. A fully bedded Jimmy bucket full of worms, and they'll eat those carrots in a week. All right, folks out there in Wormland, I hope you enjoyed what we are doing over here at Blue Mountain Worms with the Green Guardians. And I just bedded up a bucket of worms for you. That's how I do it. I'm new to this, making these YouTube videos, so I definitely need subscribers. So if you like what you see, please give me a sub. Hit that icon bell so that you get up new videos when I put them back up, because I plan on doing on a bunch of these. Stop by and visit my website. It's in the description of this video, and you can see all the neat stuff we got going on over there. At any rate, happy worming from the big worm. Thanks for stopping by.